Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Talking Football with Bengal Jim and Friends. And all hell has broke loose in Cincinnati, everybody. We got monkeys in Price Hill all over the place. We've got the Bengals Ring of Honor officially announced. The Bengals uniform reveals coming here probably within the next week or two. The NFL Draft. And Jamie, our Canadian buddy Jamie, was caught by Border Patrol trying to sneak across the border, is being detained right now somewhere north of Cincinnati. So we have a stand-in producer today. James is with us as our producer, host. He's pretty much wears multiple hats here.
We might need to start off with a prayer and just hope I don't screw anything up tonight. I think Tom's probably gave a couple of those before.
What about a prayer for Jamie?
Pray for both of us.
He's getting a strip search right now.
Dog.
Guys, a lot of stuff to get to. Let's get into this thing here. So a couple quick shout outs, and obviously every week, as we do all the time, we'd like to appreciate and say thanks to our friends from Houday Nation for tuning in. I know we got a bunch of folks on Houday Nation tuning in live for us. We love you guys. If you're not following those guys on Facebook, make sure you do so. Also, a few other things to hit on. Guys, don't forget the pub crawl, the Bengals fans pub crawl. This is going to be massive. April 24th, we have a pub crawl. Basically, I don't know if you can find that graphic. There it is. So we're starting out at the Pro Shop. The Bengals have already brought in some extra employees that morning. We're going to start there. We're not drinking at the Pro Shop, guys. We're starting there and meeting there. We can leave our cars there. We'll walk over and have lunch at the Holy Grail and some drinks. We're going to go to Smoke Justice across the bridge. We're going to come back and go to the Blind Pig. We've got the Phelps, the rooftop bar. If you've never been to this bar, we've got exclusivity to that entire rooftop for an hour and 15 minutes. It's our rooftop that night, that day. Then at 5:30, we go to Knockback Max and probably have some wings and dinner and get out of there. But we've got space reserved in each one of those locations. And we got the whole rooftop, beautiful view of the city. So if you're able to make it the 24th, don't need to pay anything. It's free. Just come down and join us and meet a bunch of other Bengal fans. And that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Jungle to the Hall, June 19th. I just talked to the hotel. There's only a small handful of hotel rooms. So if you're planning on staying with us or near us, that hotel room on June 19th, there's only a few rooms left. You check on our social media platform for those links to those discounted hotel rooms and tickets to the Hall of Fame. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're getting a pretty good volume of people committing to that. So looking forward to it. If you can make it up there for the day, great. It's going to be a lot of fun up there and show support for our Bengal legends, especially Ken Anderson and Ken Riley. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We want to wish a happy birthday to just a super fan, right? AJ, Bengal super fan. If you know AJ, Archie Carbone, he is now. I think he told me he was 65 years old, so he's on Medicare.
Look at those Bills! Look at those Bills fans bowing to him.
This is after the Bengals beat the Bills a few years back. His Bills buddy, so he lives in upstate New York. So actually, AJ's only 41 years old. Happy birthday, buddy! We love you, and you got a great family, man. We love watching those videos every week as you do those videos prior to the week of the game. So a lot of fun, a lot of good stuff there. Quick run now. We got Zim Ace from NewStripeCity. The orange is new black. We're going to have some fun with these guys. TeamChase, TeamSewell. You got to make a decision here in a little bit, guys. We've got a draft expert on, Brian Bosarge from DeepFriedDraft. You might have heard him on Ken Brew's show here locally. Outstanding stuff. So we're going to get into a lot of draft talk with Zim and Ace, but also Brian as well. Another duck race. Guys, we raised another $800. You guys are absolutely unbelievable. Another $800. We got 30 ducks for the duck race today. And we got an absolute college football and Cincinnati Bengal legend, Archie Griffin, on with us approximately around that 8:30 time. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So I know I'm talking really fast, James. James, you're going to have to slow me down, brother. So
you're doing fine. Look at what Jamie must have internet at the while under lockdown. He just left a comment there. Customs or Border Patrol, whoever has him must let him use his phone. So we miss you, Jamie.
He's asking Border Patrol to search him again for some reason. I don't know. Let's get into this, guys. So as everybody that's watching right now on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, You need to make a decision. I've made my decision. I don't change my mind. But I need you guys to make a decision. TeamChase, TeamSewell. We got Ace and Zim coming on here. Guys, if you don't follow them on their YouTube channel, NewStripeCity, you got to. It's the best YouTube channel out there. They do a hell of a job. A lot of great guests all the time. Great podcast. Orange is the New Black. Make sure you follow these guys on Twitter and YouTube. They do a great job, man. And are they both in the waiting room right now?
Yeah, let's bring them on. Let's make it happen.
Do it.
Hey.
Right.
What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
Nothing much. Just living here.
All right.
Living, chilling.
All right, let's do this. So we got everybody that's watching right now. Most of our folks know you guys, but I'm just going to put it on here right now. We got Zim. Zim is in the corner of Team Chase, and we got Ace is in the corner of TeamSewell. So, and Zim, I want to start with you, brother. So, give us your case. Give us your case on why your team Chase.
Because I'm not afraid of losing. I know that people get injured every single day in football, and anybody that's acting out of TeamSewell, I think you're just doing it out of primarily just fear. And quarterbacks get hurt every day, and there are a lot of different options that are going to be out there throughout the draft with the offensive line play, whether that's in the second round, whether you trade up. I saw people talking about trading back, doing all this other stuff or whatever. You could keep that same energy for every single round. Just because I want to have Team Chase or I want Chase on our squad doesn't mean that I'm not a big proponent of fixing the offensive line. What I am a even bigger proponent of is seizing the moment and taking control of your destiny. And at the number 5 spot, you have the choice to go have something elite. And that is an elite pass weapon, a pass receiving weapon that you can have and say, we're in the top 3, top 5 of this position group in the NFL. You can't do that from Sewell. You will have him and you say, yeah, we're cool. If he gets injured, anything goes out or whatever, you're in the same boat that you started off with. I'm about Chase, but it's very important that you have to put in there an asterisk next to that. I'm about doubling down in the draft on offensive line play. I'm about bringing in another free agent offensive line play. It's just the number 5 spot. I'm dedicated to doing something really, really great. If you're going to do something in life, whether it's football, go to work, be really, really good at one thing. I want to have the very best pass catching trio in the NFL, and I could do that day one, and I can light up the league. It'd be fun as hell to watch, and we're going to win a whole lot of games. He's going to have Joe is going to have the separation he needs. He doesn't even need to hold the ball like he was this past year. And also, in the last point I want to say is that with that being said, the running lanes are now going to open up even further than what you had Sewell. The biggest mistake that anyone in here watching this tonight could say is I want Sewell to match up with TJ Watt, or I want him to go against that. You'll lose that way. The only way to beat our ops is to get them out of their game plan. Get them back. Get TJ Watt back in coverage. Do things that they don't want to do. If you think that you're going to go mano-a-mano with Myles Garrett or anything, you'll lose. So if that's what you're trying to do, you'll lose. But my plan is Chase, and we're going to chase your dreams.
Hold on. Before we go any further, Jimmy, there's one point I got to make, and
let's go.
Look at the shirt. Look at the shirt he's got on.
I love the shirt. I knew it. I love it.
Look at that. You see the comments are blowing up, and I'll put some up here. Okay. I just wanted to show the shirt. Go ahead, continue.
Right, so,
shout out to my guy LFG Cincy. Where I'm doing another promo with them pretty soon. But really great brand based out of the Natty. If you guys get a chance, go check out LFG Cincy.
Yep. So Zim, you know everybody follow. Whoever's following me on Facebook, Twitter, I've been Team Chase since day one. I've been Team Chase since day one with you, Zim. So that was a great, valid point. I love the detail you went into it because, if people just want to hear Team Chase and don't hear about anything else about picking up any offensive lineman in round 2, they're not agreeing with you. But let's go to my boy Ace here. Ace, what's your stance on Sewell here?
I think we want the same thing. We want an elite prospect. I don't know what happened in 5 months for people to assume that Penei Sewell is not an elite prospect. And if anyone's telling you that, it's not true. This was a guy that was considered, if not the overall best non-quarterback in this class. That's Penei Sewell. Just like Zim wants an elite receiver, I want an elite lineman and the best lineman, someone that people call a generational lineman, someone that people compare to Trent Williams. So he's just as skilled as Jamar Chase is from the position. And like Zim, I'm flexible with that as well in terms of the wide receiver position. I don't think that you have to grab Jamar Chase to add him to this offense to help Joe Burrow. I think the thing that helps Joe Burrow is what we saw last year. He was hit so many times that he was on a record pace to nearly match David Carr's pretty much sack record. We don't want that. You don't want him to get hit that many times. And the thing is, if you see this guy over here, it's a guy by the name of T. Higgins. They just did a redraft yesterday. We drafted him in the second round, right? They did a redraft and he went 9th, top 10. That means that you can find receivers like Chad Johnson in the second round. You can find receivers like Marvin Jones in the 5th round. You can find Tyreek Hill in the 5th round. And that's what I'm looking at for this draft. I want to get a Penei Sewell because there's only one of him. There's still a Devonta Smith. There's still a Jalen Waddle. They might not be wide receiver 1, but they're not that far off. But the drop-off after Penei is increasingly huge. It's super huge. You talk about Darisaw. I call him Darasloth because he ends up not even blocking at the end of plays, and that's not something that I'm subjecting Joe Burrow to. So I'm not mad that Zim wants to get receivers. I'm not saying give me Penei and no receivers. I still want receivers, but I'd rather have 2 in the 2nd or the 4th or 5th round. I don't think that it has to be Jamar Chase that has to be taken. It needs to be Penei Sewell to give me what could be the next Trent Williams, who, by the way, just got paid $20 million a year, and I'm getting him for a rookie deal. Yeah, give me that all day for 20 years old, and mark me down for Team Sewell for sure.
All right, so I've been Team Sewell since day one with you, Ace. I'm just saying, I'm not flip-flopping or anything, but no, I mean, just playing with you guys, man, on that. Look, neither one of you guys are wrong. You're kind of saying the same thing a little bit, right? And you made a good point, Ace. I mean, all the receivers, the Bengals have, I think it might have been Hawkins on, I don't know, Good Morning Football or something, was talking about all the receivers. The Cincinnati Bengals are probably the best team in the NFL and NFL history in 50-plus years of receivers in round 2. I mean, they do a hell of a job, finding those gems, those diamonds in the rough in round 2 receivers. But, I am a Team Sewell guy right now. But I ain't gonna lie, if we're able, this is a draft where there's depth on the offensive line. If we go Chase 5 and we get Leatherwood from Alabama at 2nd and put him in a guard, who's gonna be mad about that?
Right.
Because I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't.
At the very beginning, you're gonna have to play Sewell. Are you playing Sewell at guard anyway? You're gonna. So
me personally, I wouldn't play him there. I would play him at tackle. I would probably move.
I would too. If they draft Sewell, this is how you convert a TeamChase guy on. Draft Sewell at 5. Come back in the 2nd round. Go get a guard. Go still keep that Leatherwood energy. And then I am talking all right, I'm a top 15, top 10 offensive line. I'm not looking for one guy to fix it. That's the biggest drop off. For you to get Sewell, you don't just go from the 24th ranked offensive line and now suddenly we're a top 5. That's my dilemma with it. So now it's let me change the whole game plan, make everybody adapt to us.
Can I tick both of you guys off though?
Do it, Tom.
Let's go.
In terms of a wide receiver, we just don't need a wide receiver. We need a guy to take the top off the defense. We need a guy that's going to be able to get open and get deep and get separation. We don't need another slot guy. We don't need another number 2 guy. We need that elite guy for Joey to be able to throw the ball to. I don't think you're going to find that elite speed guy too far deep after the end of round 2. Consequently, while it's a deep draft for linemen, I don't think you're going to get a top-notch tackle after pick 40. So, and they could evaporate if there's a run on them or anything like that. So it's a fine line. I think it's a finer line than we think in terms of talent because we need specific things. We just don't need a receiver. We need a guy who can get down and take the top off the defense.
Then your TeamChase. He just ran a 4.3, and then you just said that you don't want a guy. You said that it's a drop off after number 40. Congratulations, we're picking 38. So your TeamChase.
There might be a couple of guys that may be able to trade back, but in terms of a tackle,
don't you trade back?
I don't think you get a tackle off that. So it's a fine, tough line. I will say this: if kind of reading between the tea leaves, the Bengals staff and how they thought things were going to go. They were liking Chase when the season ended and when the scouting season began. I don't think they thought Sewell would be there. And
Exactly.
for the people that we're listening to, I think that's how we're leaning. Either way, we're going to get a stud who's going to help Joe Burrow and go to multiple Pro Bowls. I think we can all agree we're going to be pulling for that guy as soon as the card gets to the table that night.
100%.
Yeah, whichever way it goes, we're definitely signing up for it for sure. Whoever it is.
So you know what? They'll draft Kyle Pitts.
Let's go. I mean, so here's what's funny. Here's what's funny about this, man, because look, man, we're all saying the same damn thing. We're all saying it. And it's funny on social media when they hear TeamChase, they don't listen to the rest of this conversation because we're really saying the same thing. We're all on the same page. It's fun having TeamChase, TeamSewell, but we all want the same damn thing. We want to win, and we want the best player available. Who's going to help us? We can all have fun agreeing and disagreeing on who it should be at 5. But man, I don't know if this started with you guys. I'm telling you, it's been a lot of fun. The TeamChase, TeamSewell. I know you guys are early adopters of that. If you didn't start that damn thing, but I'm giving you guys credit for it, even if you didn't start it, because it's been a lot of fun on social media, going back and forth with everybody in this thing, and we appreciate what you guys do on social media. And your YouTube page is outstanding, and we love following you, man.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate it, man.
One breaking news, and should we announce some of the guests that are going to be on the Civil War this Wednesday?
Sure.
Do it.
TJ Houshmandzadeh,
TeamSewell
Jackson. They're going to be TeamSewell, and then Zim.
Well, hold on. Don't tell them who's on whose team. Just tell them. You could tell them something.
I'm just giving 2 out of mine. So those are 2 of mine. They're going to have to show up to see the rest. You can get them too if you want to.
I feel like what you said. TJ Houshmandzadeh, and who else you got?
Hugh Jackson.
And Hugh Jackson. Okay. So for me, I just wanted to. You got to tune in. So look. I like it. I like what you got, but you just got to tune in because we bring firepower every week. Like Bengals Jim is saying, like we've been doing this for a while. So on YouTube, even my Instagram, Twitter, everything. If you keep on keeping up with us, we'll have some pretty good guests. And I think this show coming up, this Civil War Part 2, is going to be fireworks.
Well, man, we'll be tuning in, and I'm asking everybody that's watching right now live. If you haven't watched these guys, watch them. They're a lot of fun. They bring the energy and great guests all the time. So Zim, Ace, we appreciate you guys being with us, guys. We appreciate it. It means a lot. We love you, man.
Thank you for having us, man.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it,
guys.
Thank you. All righty. I don't know if we solved anything there, but definitely some great discussion.
We're all on the same page. We're just getting there different ways. It's all good.
At the end of the day, we're in a great situation.
That's right.
So thanks to both Zim and Ace for coming on. And now we're going to continue the draft discussion. We're going to bring on our friend, Brian Bosarge from DeepFriedDraft.com. You might have heard him 2 weeks ago, as Jimmy alluded to. He was on the Ken Brew Sunday morning show on 700 WLW. His website is DeepFriedDraft.com. You can also follow him on Twitter at DeepFriedDraft. Like many of us, not all Bengals fans are located right in Southern Ohio. Brian comes to us all the way from Mobile, Alabama. We were talking to him a little bit before the show started. Doesn't like to fish, so don't try to go down to Mobile, Alabama and take Brian fishing. You won't have any luck. He's been going to the Senior Bowl since 1987, I believe. Part of the media since 2016. Brian, welcome to Bengal Jim and Friends.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's great to be on with some great Bengals fans here, and always love to talk draft.
So the draft is certainly a hot topic of discussion here as we lead up to it a couple of weeks away to Cleveland. Before we get started on that, living in Mobile, how'd you become a Bengals fan?
Well, it's to try to make a long story short. Whole family were New Orleans Saints fans when I was growing up, and I'm the kid that liked to be different. And so can't get much more different in Mobile, Alabama in the South than liking the Cincinnati Bengals now, can you?
Definitely not in, despite being in Mobile, you're not an Alabama fan, you're a Gamecock fan. So definitely think outside the box. So tell us about your memory, your earliest memory going back to the 80s, going to the Senior Bowl. Certainly, I'm sure it's changed quite a bit from then to what it is today.
Well, the earliest memory I have from going when I was younger was like, I remember the MVP of the game, they gave a car. I don't remember what kind of car it was, but I know they drove a car out onto the field for the MVP. Now, obviously, I think they actually paid the players. Each player on the winning team got X dollars and the losing team got X amount of dollars. They obviously don't do that anymore because now it's more about, hey, come here and press the NFL, and this is your prize. But that was my earliest memory of it, I believe.
Taking a look at what you saw this year, you just heard the banner that we had between TeamChase and TeamSewell. You're sitting in Duke Tobin's chair, got Mike Brown's ear. What are you doing here at pick number 5?
Well, let me preface this by saying, with the formula I use for my rankings, Penei Sewell is my number 1 overall player, even higher than Trevor Lawrence. He is only a tenth of a point higher than Jamar Chase. That being said, I'm about 55-45 right now. I'm going to say I'm on Team Chase. So you
have Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, both ahead of Trevor Lawrence in your rankings?
It's Sewell, Lawrence, Chase. It's close.
Okay. All right. Now, Tom, I know you had some questions from Brian. I'll let you go ahead and fire away.
Brian, like we were just talking with the guys, and especially here in Cincinnati, the draft is not just one round. It is the most important round. You can't miss in the first round, especially drafting in the top 10. But the Bengals need talent, and they need specific talent. If we do go, and right now everything we're sort of hearing, it could all be smoke, is nothing but Sewell. Who do you see as that receiver in rounds 2 and or 3 that they might be able to get to take the top off the defense and help Joe Burrow more?
Here's why I'm more Team Chase is because I think basically and you guys have said it, what the Bengals need is more of the number 1 alpha dog receiver. To me, after round 1, where you start seeing more and more is the slot guys that you already have in Tyler Boyd. Not saying that some of these guys wouldn't be great for the offense, but I think the next level in that second round area is more of the inside receivers and not the true number 1 receivers. Now, if someone like Rashad Bateman would for some reason fall out of round 1, which I don't think he will, but if he were available at the top of round 2, then yes, that would be that guy that you would run the card up for. But to me, if you don't draft Jamar Chase in the first round, I don't think you're going to even look at receiver again until maybe round 3, round 4. A guy like in round 4 that you would target that has that speed and production is a guy like Des Fitzpatrick from right down the road in Cincinnati, Louisville. He's a guy who I would target at the top of round 4 if I was Cincinnati, if I don't take Jamar Chase in the first round.
So let's flip that, Brian. So let's flip that. So we get Jamar Chase at 5. So who comes in that second round and helps us on that O-line if that's what we're targeting?
What you've done with signing Riley Reif is essentially maybe buy a little time.
Right.
So you don't have to immediately upgrade the right tackle position this year. So I think at the top of round 2, you can get a guy like, say, Dylan Raduns from North Dakota State. He was a guy I rated really highly coming into the season. He only played the 1 game this year, had a great week at the Senior Bowl, was voted the top overall player during practice at the Senior Bowl for both teams. So that's not something you would normally see from an offensive lineman, much less an offensive lineman from the Missouri Valley Conference. He's a guy that I think will be available in round 2, maybe even at the top of round 3. So if I was Cincinnati here and I take Jamar Chase, I'm looking for an Alex Leatherwood who has played guard, played tackle at Alabama, also had a good week at the Senior Bowl. A guy maybe in the 3rd round who would be a project, so to speak, is Spencer Brown from Northern Iowa. Look this kid up, 6'8", 300 pounds. Best athletic testing per the RAS system ever for an offensive tackle. Spencer Brown. Just freakish athleticism for the tackle position. But I would almost look at the interior line at the top of the 2nd round because I think you're going to see some guys there that would be instant upgrades. Even if Trey Hopkins comes back healthy, a guy like Creed Humphrey from Oklahoma is another guy who tested outstanding. I think if you picked him at pick 38, you start him at guard, then kick him inside the center, or maybe he starts to center, Hopkins goes to guard. But either way, you have upgraded 2 positions right there immediately. Wyatt Davis from Ohio State is another guy that I like. Trey Smith from Tennessee is another interior guard that I think would be available second, maybe possibly in the top of the 3rd round, more likely the 2nd round pick. But yeah, that's why I'm all about TeamChase here at 5, because I think the depth at the offensive tackle position and the depth at the interior guard and center position far outweighs what you're going to get from the number 1 wide receiver position.
Looking at all the years you've attended the Senior Bowl down there, is there one particular player that you saw and said, man, I can't believe he's either excelled at the NFL level or somebody that you thought was a stud there that just deflated when he got to the bright lights of the NFL?
I can tell you a guy I'm taking a big L on so far in his NFL career is Josh Allen, quarterback for the Bills. I saw him at the Senior Bowl, and they had this net with the 3 holes in it. So, you're supposed to hit high, medium, and low throws. And Josh Allen nearly beamed a poor kid that was standing behind the fence. His accuracy during the practice week was some of the worst I've ever seen from a quarterback at the senior in all my years of going to the Senior Bowl. Now, when the game comes around on Saturday, he's lights out, completing 75-80% of his passes, 100-something yards and a couple of touchdowns. So, but he has completely surprised me as far as what I had no belief that he would be a top-level NFL quarterback.
A couple of years ago, the Bengals staff, Zach Taylor's, I believe, first year, we talked about it earlier, I can't remember the exact year, had the opportunity to coach at the Senior Bowl there. What did you take away from your interaction with Coach Taylor and his staff from the media side?
I mean, I didn't really get around them as much as some of the other guys that were down covering the game, like John Shearer and Joe Goodberry were down that year. Those guys interacted more with the coaching staff than I did, because I was more trying to take in big picture stuff, because I wasn't completely Bengals media. So, but I mean, they ran a good practice, and it was probably the only 3 days I've could ever have seen somebody like Jim Turner actually being a solid, coach. Any other time, but he was fun to listen to in practice. I mean, it was fun seeing him, get on these offensive linemen, and there were a couple linemen there. You could tell that the Bengals would have no at all desire to draft, the way he was chewing them out and everything.
Tom, we'll go to one more question for you, and then we appreciate your time. Once again, Brian Bosarge joining us from DeepFriedDraft.com. Anything coming up? We'll go to Tom's question here in a second, but what can Bengal fans or any NFL fans expect when they go to DeepFriedDraft.com, Brian?
Coming up here in the next 2 weeks, we'll start wrapping everything up, putting a bow on it. I'll go day by day, position by position, putting my final position rankings out there. I'm sure Bengals fans will be looking at those offensive line and wide receiver rankings when those days come out. Should have 2 more mock drafts coming up. We'll have the penultimate mock draft coming up probably sometime this week. And then the final mock draft will be released probably the Wednesday night before the draft.
All right, final question, Tom.
Brian, shifting off of what we were talking about the wide receivers and the linemen, the other thing the team is desperate for are edge rushers, guys that can put heat on the quarterback. Not going to happen in 1, unless they're really high on a guy like Carlos Basham from Wake Forest. Probably not going to happen in 2. Do you see guys slipping into round 3 that you think can step in and help this season?
If he were to be available at the top of round 3, 2 guys that I don't know if they will be available or not, but 2 guys I really liked are Peyton Turner from Houston, who had a ridiculous 3-cone drill at his pro day the other day. He's a long athlete. He's one of those guys where if you see him like from their torso up is longer from their waist down. He's built like that, and it kind of gets off balance a little bit at times, but he's a maniac coming off the edge. And a guy who could probably kick inside on pass downs and play outside, on first and second down is Cam Sample from Tulane. He was a defensive MVP of the Senior Bowl game. He's got tremendous pass rush upside, and his teammate probably will be available in rounds maybe 4 or 5. Highly productive edge rusher from Tulane, Patrick Johnson. So that's a couple of names there that could be available later for the Bengals.
Well, Brian, we appreciate you coming on. Certainly, it's an exciting time. Hopefully, this time next year, we're nowhere near a top 5 pick, and we don't have to worry about the excitement. But again, if you haven't followed them, check out Deep Fried Draft on Twitter, DeepFriedDraft.com. Brian Bosarge, thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey, anytime, guys.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, so I know we have Archie in the waiting room right now, but we're going to take just a couple minutes. We don't want him waiting too long. we want to do our duck race. And I just want to, if you could pull up that graphic, James, I just want to let you guys know that the charity that we're working with today is the Companion on a Journey. And year to date, you guys have raised almost $6,500 at Bengal fans for local charities for us, and it's unbelievable. I mean, over $6,000, almost $6,500 already. The football season hasn't even started, but we want to all these charities that we've been working with: the Ken Anderson Alliance, Companions on a Journey, Munoz Foundation. I think I'm missing one there, James. I can't remember the other charity we worked with, but $6,500. So this week, Companions on a Journey, $800 has been donated to Companions on a Journey because of you guys. Just unbelievable, paying it forward like Bengal fans are doing on this has been awesome. So, Tom, we got 30 ducks here, brother. You're the duck race caller before we get Archie on.
And some great prizes too. The AJ Green jersey and whatever else we're raffling off.
We got the autograph football with probably 15, 20 names on it, and the AJ Green autograph jersey. Whoever wins this duck race gets that prize package.
All right, here we go. Let's hope I don't screw this up.
And they're off. With that taking off from Coney Island, pedaling hard. We've got
Clown Duck, B. Newman.
Clown Duck. It's a little different going on down, pedaling hard. Most of the pack is drifting to the back, but we've got a couple. We've got looks like a duck from Scotland or something. Briefly in ahead, coming through, going down. They're passing Schmidt Field.
Birthday boy Archie Carbone up there on top. Oh, he faded fast. He faded fast.
It's like that. They're all clumped together. We've got one taking charge.
Here comes Archie. Here comes the birthday boy. Showed his nose. Showed the beak. Or should I say beak? Should I say beak?
Purple Duck won on the Ohio side. Now he's fading back too. They're all together. This is going to be our greatest finish ever. You don't want to be in the lead with 10 seconds to go, but there they come. Down the stretch they come. Past Smale Park to Paul Brown Stadium. Oh, here we come.
Oh,
here we go.
Yes. I can't
number 22.
Mariana.
Yes.
Luke's cohort in crime. That's how I'm going to say it, so I don't butcher her name.
So congratulations. You win the AJ Green autograph jersey and the autograph football. And again, thanks to all the Bengal fans. $800 to Companions on a Journey. Companions on a Journey we have helped out before, but it's basically they really help a lot of youth with grief counseling, youth or adults with grief counseling in our area, and they do a great job. So thanks again, guys. We appreciate it. We got some very special things coming up for the pub crawl. We're going to tie that into a charity event for us as well. But we appreciate everybody. Thanks. Yep.
And I didn't screw it up.
You're fine. You did great. You did great. We worked with it.
All righty.
Hey, before we bring Archie on, just a quick introduction. I don't even know what to say, man. We probably have the greatest college football player coming on here in another couple seconds. But Archie Griffin, in Ohio State and Cincinnati Bengal legend, two-time Heisman Trophy winner, two-time Walter Camp winner, two-time Sporting News Player of the Year, Maxwell Award, two-time Big Ten MVP, three-time first-team All-American, three-time first-team All-Big Ten. The number 45 is retired in the shoe. Been up there many times to see that. College Football Hall of Fame. In 1976, our Cincinnati Bengals drafted one of the best college football players to ever put on a uniform. We'd like to welcome Archie Griffin.
Hello there.
Archie, what's going on, big dog? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Man, life is good. Life is good. Archie,
all right.
Archie, we have hundreds and hundreds of folks right now viewing on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We'll let them ask some questions here in a little bit, but I know we've had a lot of your teammates on, pretty much most all your teammates on, and I've been texting and calling some of your former players today, and I was trying to get some good stuff on you, man, and every one of these guys stop and just say maybe the classiest player I've ever played with. Kenny said it, and I know your boy Pete's up there living next to you somewhere, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I had to go by and drop a bottle of Crown Royal off for him.
That's about right. That's his favorite, no question. Yeah. Well, I had some great teammates, that's for sure. And I just got back to Columbus from Florida, and I had the opportunity right before I left to have dinner with Reggie Williams.
Oh.
And we had a wonderful, wonderful dinner together. And matter of fact, he gave me his book, Resilient by Nature, and I just got through reading it, and it's a fascinating book. It tells about Reggie's life and his struggles and his triumphs, and I recommend it to anybody. I really, really enjoyed it. And 2 weeks before that, I had the chance to play golf with one of my former teammates, Steve Kreider, who was a receiver for us. And we had a great time playing golf at Calusa Pines, a beautiful course there in Naples, Florida. And it was just absolutely outstanding. And it's always great to get back with your former teammates and have a good time. And we did that in Florida while I was there.
It's funny. Reggie was on the show a few months back, right not too long after his book release came out. So I bought the book as well, Archie, and I'm not all the way through it yet, but I'm a slow reader.
It's a good book. It's a good book. Reggie's had some trials and some tribulations, but he's also had some triumphs. That's pretty fascinating. So
yes, sir. So Arch, I want to start the concept of our show, man, is really just we don't want the Bengal fans, the new generation of Bengal fans that are out there, don't ever forget our OGs, man, and Archie and all of our guys from the 70s and 80s. We don't want people to forget about you guys, because you guys were something special. You guys were on some really good team in the 70s and 80s, but we like playing some film clips, and I have a couple surprises here for you. You're going to like them. They're good ones. But I want to start out in 1972, and we're going to play a short. It's about a minute 30 clip, and after the clip's over, we're going to ask you some questions about it. So, James, if you could play that first clip, I think I have it as clip 1.
As a freshman, and head coach Woody Hayes called his number in a season-opening shutout win over Iowa.
Nobody thought Woody Hayes would play a freshman running back, but he puts Archie Griffin in, and right off the bat, he drops the ball. And everybody thinks, well, we'll never see that kid again.
And of course, Archie was down a little bit, and he wondered if Coach Hayes would ever put him back in, because we all know how much Coach Hayes dislikes fumbles.
After a week off, the Buckeyes returned to action on September 30, 1972, hosting North Carolina. Coach Hayes gave Griffin a second chance. Number 45 would not need a third.
I was in the driveway listening to the game on the radio and washing my car. And Archie gets in the game, and I'm turning the radio up loud and just listening to the game. And here I hear Archie rambles off a 25-yard run, a 15-yard run, a 35, all these big runs. I'm saying, I'm going crazy.
Playing as a true freshman in only his second game, Griffin bobbed and weaved for 239 yards against the Tar Heels, setting an Ohio State single-game rushing record.
When he took his opportunity, you seen what he did with it. That game stands out, obviously, because it was just like totally unexpected.
I always say that was a miracle for me to even get in that football game, because that truly was the springboard to my career.
All right, Archie, I got to ask you. So Woody Hayes, he didn't play freshmen. How did you get in?
Well, I don't know if you remember, but 1972 was the very first year that freshmen were eligible to play varsity. And with that being the case, all of us freshmen who attended Ohio State that year, that was our goal, to be a part of that varsity team and to get in to some of those games. How I got in, I tell you what, I still call it a miracle. Because in the first game, I got that opportunity and I fumbled the football. I didn't think I'd get another chance to play. But I had a couple coaches actually, who were in my corner, Rudy Hubbard being one, who was the backfield coach. And my understanding is that Rudy Hubbard and the guards and center coach, Ed Firkany, kind of pounded the table for me to get into the game against North Carolina. We had a bye week in between that first game against Iowa and the North Carolina game, and I was still playing on the scout squad, not really practicing with the varsity at all. And I guess I was doing pretty well with the scout squad, and they felt that I was good enough to play, and they pounded the table for me to get in. And Woody always said, if you really believe in something, you pound the table. And when you pound the table, you're willing to put your job at stake. So those guys put their job at stake and pounded the table for me to get into that game. And I'm so very glad and thankful and feel very, very blessed that they did, because it worked out pretty well, because that really was a springboard to my years at Ohio State.
So literally that game, I think that first game where you fumbled and he took you out was Iowa. Then the next week you guys played North Carolina.
Yeah,
and
it was a bye week in between, so we had a week off. So we did a lot of practicing and scrimmaging and things like that. And so playing on the scout squad, we were going against the varsity a lot, and we had some good practices against them. And thank goodness that those coaches felt confidence in me and gave me that opportunity.
Yeah, what's crazy, what people don't understand, I think I have this right, Archie, is that you did that 239 yards in your second game in 2.5 quarters. Because that game against North Carolina, Archie didn't have you start. I'm sorry, Coach Hayes didn't have you starting because they got off to a slow start. And you were kind of the spark plug that ignited that game. And you did 239 yards in 2.5 quarters.
Yeah, I mean, that was very, very special. You know, to do 239 hours, you had to have some pretty good blocking, and I had some pretty good blocking there with Steve Myers and John Hicks and folks like that who were outstanding offensive linemen for us, and it was really a wonderful day. I really do count that as a miracle, and I thank God for it, and so very, very blessed to have had that happen for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So got to Ohio State and Arch. I know we only have you for a limited time, so I don't want to rush you through this stuff, but I want to play another clip here because what people don't understand in Cincinnati, the young viewers right now, Archie wasn't just a great runner. This guy had hands, catching ball out of the backfield, and he also did some other stuff, throwing the ball. So let's play this clip right here. I think I have it as clip number 2, James.
Archie Griffin had a banner day, catching 1 TD and passing for another, as the Bengals rolled up the second highest point total in their history. Under new.
So not only were you a running back running the ball, you caught a lot of balls out of the backfield. You threw 2 touchdown passes?
Yes, I did, and I'm very proud of that because, you know, when I was at Ohio State, we used to always practice this halfback pass, and we would practice it all the time, but we never, ever, ever threw it in the game. And when I got to the Bengals, the coaches put up that play, and I was thinking the same thing. Well, we're going to practice this thing, but I'm never going to get a chance to throw it. Well, shoot, I got a chance to throw that thing about 3 or 4 times. A couple times I ran it when I could have passed it, but I've always felt that, you know, if it's going to be close, if it's going to be an incompletion, you might as well take off and run with it. So I chose that instead of passing sometimes. But when I knew that it could be a touchdown, I would let that ball go.
So 2 for 2, 2 touchdowns, highest passing percentage. Kenny's number 2 on the list now, next to Archie. So that's good. I found those video clips. I'm like, I remember the one. I didn't remember the other one, but that's really cool. So wait a minute, you didn't throw those very far. They weren't going to throw those from the other end of the field, though, right? You didn't have an arm to throw it more than 10, 15 yards, or what?
Oh no, I could throw it. I could throw it pretty deep. Now, matter of fact, there's another pass I had that wasn't a touchdown. That was pretty deep. I think I can't remember who it was against, but yeah, I threw one pretty deep. I threw it across the field, as a matter of fact.
I'm going to have to find that one. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right. Well, thanks. That's great. That feedback. I was going to ask you about that. You never got to do it at Ohio State.
No, never got to do it. Matter of fact, Jim, we were playing Michigan my sophomore year, and that was a game that we tied 10-10. And we practiced that halfback pass all week. And that would have been the perfect time to throw that in that 10-10 tie that we had against Michigan in 1973, because I tell you, they loaded that line of scrimmage and they brought everybody. All we had to do was just pitch it out, and I could have shot-putted that thing across the line of scrimmage, and it would have been complete. But we never did call that pass. They tell me that we had it called and was getting ready to go in the game with it, and Woody called it off before it went into the huddle. So I wish we'd have called that. But it was really fun to throw that pass and to get to throw it with the Cincinnati Bengals.
That's cool. That's cool. All right. So go ahead, James.
You mentioned the word Michigan. We have a question from one of our viewers about Michigan. I'm going to pop that up now again. If you
we normally say that team up north, but okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say it.
This is the question from our buddy Paul. Archie, tell us the story about the team dinner you had in Michigan and what Woody Hayes did.
Okay. Well, this would have been my senior year. and it was actually the pregame meal before the Michigan game in 1975. And in that pregame meal, we were pretty tight. Woody kind of noticed that we were pretty tight. And at that pregame meal, the people that were serving us were pretty girls, really outstanding looking young women. And Woody noticed that the guys kept looking at these pretty young women. So Woody went back into the kitchen and told the cooks to get those girls off the floor and for the cooks to come out and serve us. And so he did that, and those cooks came out to serve us, and Woody stood up and said, Bo Schembechler planted those women there to distract us. And we just busted out laughing, because we couldn't believe that Coach Hayes did that. But as he sat back down, I kind of noticed that he had a little smile on his face also. And I think that was planned because, he felt that we were too tight, and he felt that he needed to loosen us up a little bit. And he did that, and we went out there and we won that football game and won the Big Ten championship for winning that football game. But yeah, I couldn't believe that he took those girls off the floor and told those cooks to come out there and serve us because Bo Schembechler planted them there to distract us.
I've heard that story before. That's pretty good, Archie. So, hey, real quick, I forgot to tell you, for us down here in the Natty, there's two city up north, right? We got Michigan and the Cleveland area. That's our city. We got two city up north now. All right, my bad. You can't say that because there's a lot of Ohio State fans up north too now.
Oh yeah.
So I got one more clip here, Archie, and I hope I have this right, but I hope this brings back memories.
Okay.
Griffin, number 45, had his best day as a pro. If Griffin realizes his potential, Anderson will be that much more effective. Indeed, the Bengals are all
right. Sorry for the footage skipping there a little bit, Arch, but I'm not going to say, do you remember that game in 1976?
I remember it. The Packers that looked like we were playing, and I remember it being a hard-hitting game. That's what I remember about it. But it was a fun game, and I really remember because I was playing against one of my former Buckeye teammates, Steve Luke, who was the defensive back for them there, and I remember he hit me in that game, and on the sideline he said, "Welcome to the NFL, rookie."
and I may be wrong, Archie, but I think that was your first rushing touchdown in the NFL, wasn't it?
Yeah, it probably was. I don't remember all the touchdowns and all that kind of stuff. But it probably was.
It was. It was early in the year there. That's awesome. Yeah. That's really cool. So there's a picture we want to show everybody here, and a lot of folks don't know this about your brother, right? Archie and Ray here. So this is an old football card. So let's talk about, you got to play college football with your brother Ray and played in the NFL with Ray, because Ray played in Cincinnati for a long time, and Ray had a hell of a career, man. He was a defensive back. He had 11 interceptions as a DB here in Cincinnati. He had a good career here. So how was that to play with your brother in college and in football?
Well, it was awesome, and I got to play with Ray for a year in high school as well. I was 2 years ahead of Ray, and when I was in high school was 3 years, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. So I got to play with him in high school, and we were the running backs for Eastmore Senior High School. He was the tailback, and I was the fullback at the time. And when he came to Ohio State, as a running back, and actually in my his very first year, he played behind me at running back. And then his sophomore year, they switched him to a defensive back, and he really found his niche there in the defensive secondary, where he became an All-American at Ohio State. And it really was fun to have him on the same team as I was on. As a matter of fact, when I was in college, not only did I play with my brother Ray, but also played with my brother Duncan, who was also a defensive back. So it was three Griffins on the same team at the same time. But at Cincinnati, it was Ray and myself, and he had a doggone good career at Cincinnati, and I know that he enjoyed it as much as I did. So it was really a lot of fun playing with one of your siblings.
Yeah, that's a really neat story. So,
and I don't know if you remember, but we had another sibling, the Browners.
Oh, Ross.
Yeah. Ross and Jimmy Browner.
Yes.
They were on our teams as well. So we had two sets of brothers that was on the team.
Well, hey, I got a bunch. I'm just going to ask one more. I'm going to finish with one after we let some of our viewers get some questions up there.
Okay.
But I got to ask you, number 45, is there a why behind that? Because you had it at Ohio State, you had it for Cincinnati. Was that a number that meant a lot to you?
Well, it ended up meaning a lot to me, but quite honestly, that was the number that was given to me when I went to Ohio State. That was the number that was sitting in my locker. I wasn't bold enough to ask anybody for a particular number. I took whatever number they gave me, and at Cincinnati, they just gave me 45 because I wore it at Ohio State, I think.
Got it. So, Reg, I'm going to ask you one more. I'm sorry. So, I read an article, and this weekend, just kind of doing some research, and you made a comment at some point. I may have this not phrased correctly, but you credit your parents and Woody Hayes talking about always paying it forward in your life. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, my folks meant the world to me. Both of them are gone, and love them to death, miss them so much, think about them every day, just like I think about Woody Hayes every day. But my parents were the type that gave all of us. I come from a large family, 6 brothers and a sister, and my parents were the type that gave us priorities to live by. Trusting in God was first. Getting an education, a college education was number 2, and then athletics was third. And they wanted to participate in athletics because you learned a lot of valuable lessons through athletics: the will to win, cope with pressure, getting along team situations, all which are lessons that help you in life. And one of the things that they always taught us was to do things to help other people. I mean, we didn't have everything as we were coming up, but my folks were always willing to help others, and they wanted us to do the same thing. And then when I got to Ohio State, Woody constantly talked to us about paying forward. He got it from Ralph Waldo Emerson's essay on compensation. He said you can never pay back the good that someone may have done for you, but you can always pay forward by helping someone else. And Coach Hayes always told us that, and he always told us that we should be doing things to help other people. He always encouraged us to go into schools and talk to elementary and junior high school kids about the importance of college education. And he always told us that, when you get the chance to make some money, and you ought to give back to some organizations that you feel going to be helpful in our society. And Coach didn't only talk about it, but he did it. So we could actually see him paying for it, doing things to help other people. Quite a role model for me. My parents, along with Coach Woody Hayes, and I love them to death. And again, I can say this: I think about all of them each and every day of my life.
That's awesome.
We want to remind everybody to type in your questions for Archie. If you have a couple more minutes, we have one ready to go from our friend Jennifer. Archie, talk a little bit about fellow Heisman winner Joe Burrow.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Joe Burrow is an absolutely excellent quarterback. I had the opportunity to watch Joe Burrow play in high school. I watched him play the high school state championship game. And when he played in that game, I was already aware that he was going to come to Ohio State University. And when I watched that game, I was totally impressed. And I could be wrong on this, but I think he threw 7 touchdown passes in that game. I could be wrong, might have been 6, but I always say 7. And when he did that, there's some friends that can tell you that I said at that time that Joe Burrow was going to win a Heisman Trophy. And he didn't do it at Ohio State, but he did do it. And so it doesn't surprise me that he's as good as he is. He is truly an outstanding quarterback, and I certainly hope he heals up really, really well so that he can come back and really make a real difference with our Bengals.
Just before you came on, Archie, and we're all excited about Joe and obviously our first round pick last year. Talking about our first round pick this year, you heard some of the banner. I saw you backstage listening to our candid draft discussion about what we should do at 5. If you're in the GM seat, Archie, what would you do with pick number 5?
Well, I want to take care of Joe Burrow, so I want to make sure that he has a great deal of protection to give him the opportunity to do what he does best, and he can throw that football.
So you're Team Sewell.
Team Sewell.
We can add Archie's name to Team Sewell.
Team Burrow.
Yeah, that's right.
In middle of June, we're doing a campaign in Canton for some Ken Riley, Ken Anderson to be in the Hall of Fame. Archie, what's your thoughts? Maybe those two or anybody else that you play with that you think should be up in Canton with the gold jacket?
Well, I'll tell you what, Ken Riley, for sure, certainly Kenny Anderson. I think those guys were excellent players for the Bengals, but I'd add some more to that. I think of Isaac Curtis, who to me was absolutely incredible as a wide receiver. And I've seen him make catches that, I still haven't seen to this day. So he would be one. Reggie was pretty doggone special himself as a linebacker. So there's some pretty good folks there. But when you think about Ken Riley, Kenny Anderson, Isaac Curtis, and folks like that, we've had some really special players that I played with that I think are deserving of Hall of Fame potential.
Tom, I know you always have a question. I can't wait for your question for Archie.
Archie, bring on a little bit off that. You mentioned your teammate to end up playing for the Packers. Was there a guy at Ohio State, and then when you came into the NFL for the Bengals, an upperclassman and then a veteran that kind of took you under their wing and tried to show you the way or lead you a little bit?
Well, I'll tell you, my experience when I came in as a rookie, which would have been 1976, we had Coy Bacon and Bob Brown. And those two guys had been in the league a long, long time. And those guys, I think my locker was right between both of them. And those guys used to call me rookie all the time, but they would always take care of me. I'll never forget, I had this brand new hat when I first came to training camp after the college all-star game when the college all-stars played the Pittsburgh Steelers. I came into camp probably about a week and a half late. And Corey Bacon, first thing he said, give me that hat, rookie. You can't wear that hat. Give me that hat. I like that hat. And you know what I did? I took that hat off and I gave it to Corey Bacon. And I was his buddy ever since. Corey Bacon took care of me, and I greatly appreciate that.
He was a stud, man.
He was a stud, man. That they weren't counting sacks back then, but if they'd have been counting sacks back then, shoot, he'd still have the record.
Yep, I'm with you. That's crazy. All right, so a couple more. And Reggie, Archie, we appreciate your time, buddy.
People call me Reggie all the time, so they
I don't know where that came from. But I know, we appreciate your time. So I had a couple more things I want to run by you. So the Heisman Trophy, man, you got 2 of those things, man. So they're not that heavy, are they?
Oh, they're about 42 pounds. So you put them together, you got 84 pounds. So you're carrying a load.
2 years, they were 45 pounds.
Okay. All right.
That's good. So, all right. You got to share, man. I know you didn't directly play for Paul Brown. You played with Homer Rice and Tiger Johnson and Forrest Gregg. But do you have any fun stories you could share with us about Paul Brown?
I wish I had some stories of Paul Brown coaching me because it would be great to be able to say that I played football for 2 legendary coaches like Woody Hayes and Paul Brown. But I don't have any coaching stories, but I can tell you this about Paul Brown. He was a great man. He knew the game inside and out. He had a lot of great innovations that happened in the game of football. He was the reason that they happened. And I always enjoyed just having a conversation with him. He was not my coach, but I certainly had a lot of conversations with him on the sidelines and practices, and even afterwards when we just be talking. And I always admired him. He talked a lot about Woody Hayes, and Woody Hayes talked a lot about Paul Brown. And it was just a joy to have the opportunity to be in contact with a guy like Paul Brown, who truly is a legend in the game of football, and a legend as a man.
Yeah. Okay, last question. We ask all of our old school guests this question, but I know you can't answer the city up north. But who is when you played, Archie? Who was your biggest rival? Who was the game you got extra amped up for when you went out on the field? Who was that? Who was that team?
Well, in college it was that team up north, but in pro. Certainly the Pittsburgh Steelers and certainly the Browns as well, but the Pittsburgh Steelers in particular, because, at that time, those guys were winning all kind of Super Bowl championships. And anytime we played them, it was pretty much a battle. And even in those bad years that we had, one of our wins would probably be against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that was a team that we made sure that we got up for. And they were great teams at that time too, as you know.
Yep. So I want you to close with, I know you do a lot of work in the state, in the Columbus area with charities. You got a golf outing coming up here. You okay talking about your golf outing or any charities you're working with right now?
Yeah. I do several charities. My wife and I have a foundation in Columbus at the Columbus Foundation. That we help kids, charities throughout Ohio, actually. And so we do a number of donations to a number of different charities. But one that I'm very fond of that I do is the Archie Griffin Scholarship Fund that I do at The Ohio State University. And that's where the golf outing came from that Archie Griffin Scholarship Fund. And we raise money for Olympic sports, for scholarships. For Olympic sports at Ohio State. And we don't give the money to football or basketball because we know that those are sports that are going to always be taken care of. But in times like we're in, sometimes sports get dropped. And I want to do my part in making sure that none of the Olympic sports that we have at Ohio State gets dropped. So I provide scholarships for Olympic sports, or sports other than football and basketball. And I've been doing that for several years now. We have got about, in that scholarship fund, we probably have over $2 million in it because we've been doing it for a while. And I'm very, very proud of that. And it's a fun event. It's always the third Monday in July at the Lakes Golf and Country Club in Columbus. And if anybody wants to play in it, please contact the Lakes.
Yeah, we'll make sure we get that out on social media for you too, Archie. And
okay, thank you.
And I keep saying the last thing, but somebody just made a post just now, and I thought it was hilarious. James, if you can find there it is. Robert Feldman says, yeah, there it is. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, I see that.
Sorry. Yeah, Greg. I'm sorry, Greg Shoemaker. If you could put that one up there, I thought this was fun.
Our Michigan fans aren't going to be too happy with us.
Yeah.
All right.
Good. Those are great.
All right, Arch. Hey, we appreciate it, man, and we thank you so much. And we just want to make sure you're never going to be forgotten down here in Cincinnati, buddy.
Well,
we love you, man, and
I appreciate you having me on. Thank you very much. Really,
yes, sir. We love you, Arch. Who day, buddy?
Who day?
Take care, Archie.
Archie.
God bless you.
Thanks again.
Stay safe. All righty.
Wow.
Awesome.
What a good dude, man.
That guy drips class.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to get some dirt on him from his teammates and some of the other guys. Well, I can share this story. I can't share this story with you. I can with it. Archie, nobody said any of that. They were like serious, like, Jimmy, this is the nicest guy, the best human being you'd ever want to meet. I think, I don't have this quote in front of me, but I read it earlier today that Woody Hayes was talking about Archie Griffin was the classiest human being he's ever coached. And also, on top of that, he was also even a better football player, the best football player I ever coached, something to that effect. And I'm like, Woody Hayes saying that, and no wonder his teammates down here in Cincinnati, the responses I got about him were just unbelievable.
Oh, that was great. That was an hour, just over an hour. We covered a lot. Archie was awesome. Zim and Houday, our buddy Brian Bosarge from DeepFriedDraft. We packed a lot in. This is exciting times, and I don't think
James,
yeah,
James, you did a hell of a job, man.
James, you
We're
were
not done
awesome.
yet. We're
We
not
have
done
a lot
yet.
of fun with each other, but you were awesome. Well, let's wrap it up then. But
So if Jamie I don't know. We'll see if Jamie can has a good lawyer and gets out of.
We got a phone. I missed a phone call from a Canadian mounted police. They want us to ID him, make sure. I don't know. I mean,
our buddy Jamie, man,
we miss you, Jamie. We miss you,
buddy.
All right, let's go ahead and close it out. Tom, you want to go with your closing comments?
fantastic show. Great. I'm still in awe. I wasn't going to tell him I was too embarrassed, but as a little kid growing up in Ohio, in the northern suburbs of Cincinnati, my two heroes were Neil Armstrong and Archie Griffin. So that was awesome. Another big week coming up. The pro days that matter to the Bengals are finished. We've got a big show next week that's going to help get everybody ready for the draft. And again, I can't wait. And keep the chatter up, whether you're TeamSewell or TeamChase, or Team Trade Back. Keep the chatter up. I know that those last few days in April are going to be good for the Bengals and moving the franchise forward. So keep up the chatter.
All right. I think, thank you, Tom. As always, love your insights. And I think we'd be remiss without one big cut happened this week in Bengals Nation. Our boy Giovanni Bernard, who I think if you look back was just class. Second round pick out of North Carolina. Better yet, we even got him as I think compensation from one of the picks we got for getting rid of Carson when he quit on the team. But I won't go off on that tangent tonight. But back to Gio. We're thanking Gio now. That'll be for another night, Tom. But no, just a class individual. His whole time here just did whatever was asked of him, excuse me. And just a great representation. So Gio, he's going to be missed, and we appreciate the time. I miss Jamie this week. That's a lot of buttons to press. We're not done yet, but so far I haven't screwed anything up. But we'll get Jamie back, and I'll slide into the bottom right corner there and talk some more draft coverage. But I think I say this every time, but generous donations once again from everybody out there. To raise almost $6,500 thus far, 4 months into the 2021 season is awesome. And, we'll keep it up. Congrats to Mariana for winning those two AJ items. Thanks to our buddy Tom for the donation, and excited. This is an excited time. Look forward to seeing everybody in Cleveland in a couple weeks. Got my stupid vaccine, so I'm ready to go, and hope everybody stays safe. Jimmy?
Yeah, that's good stuff. So just what a hell of a couple weeks here, really. I mean, this week had the Ring of Honor officially announced. We got the uniform reveal coming up here, probably, I would say, within the next couple of weeks before the draft, I would think is what's going to happen. Draft night, James and I will be in the inner circle. We're going to be next to the commissioner. We're trying to work out how do we go live. Maybe we do a remote show up there for a little bit, and James and I might go live from up there. We don't know how we're going to do it, but we're talking about maybe doing something from the draft, a live remote from the draft during the draft. And then next week, the 18th, we have got guests lined up over the next few weeks, and next week is no different. We have Emily Parker, head of communications with the Cincinnati Bengals. It's going to be a lot of fun. She's awesome. Good follow on social media as well. She does a hell of a job down at the Bengals. We also have Tom has lined up Dan Shanka, which is the R-Lads draft guide. This guy's a national draft guy. I think, Tom, did you say he scouted for he was a scout for 3 NFL teams? Is that what it was?
He's been a scout for 3 NFL teams, a USFL team. He's been a coach. Our-Lads guide is considered the top fan guide out there.
Yep. Yeah. So Emily Parker and Dan Shanka next week. And I'm not going to tell you who we got lined up for the 25th of the Sunday before the draft. We got people lined up for that one already. Don't forget about the Bengals pub crawl on the 24th of April. We're just meeting at the pro shop and just going from there. I put times out on our social media platform. So if you can't make it to the pro shop or make it to the Holy Grail, you know about where we're going to be, approximate times on that as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And believe me, we did it impromptu one maybe a couple months ago. And we had an absolute blast. Got to meet a bunch of Bengal fans I had not met before. So hope you can join us. I think James is coming in town for that.
I'm going to try. Yes,
he's trying to, and Tom will have to pull out and see if he can make it. And that's why Jamie was sneaking across the border early for this. So hopefully we can get him in for this one. But
we'll never see Jamie again.
He'll be producing for the jail cell or something. And don't forget June 19th, guys. I can't stress this enough. We need all the fans we can get up in Canton. A lot of stuff going on around it, but really that 1 to 3 time, the rally we're doing, working out some details between that 1 and 3 time. But it's a free event. Well, we need bodies up there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think we have about 75 to 100 people already registered for that. We'll put the links back up. So if you're looking or thinking about going, make sure you let us know and sign up for it. That way we get an idea of the number of bodies that will be up there for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, just making sure that we focus on our Bengal legends that should be in that Hall of Fame. Guys, that's it, man. Just another great time. It's so fun talking to these guys and the old players and Zim and Ace today were awesome as usual, and our buddy Brian did a hell of a job. So we appreciate everybody viewing. Again, this is by the fans for the fans. We appreciate everybody that tunes in, and guys, I cannot begin to tell you I thank you enough for everything you guys are doing for these local charities. It amazes me. We're already at 6,500 here, guys. So we got some big stuff planned, and we appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing everybody next week. And if the uniform reveal happens before then, I can't wait. But we will see everybody next Sunday night, and we'll see everybody. Who Day, guys.
Take care. Stay safe, everyone.